Welcome back to this career mode that we have been running on this channel that has spanned 3 different games, 2 generations and 3 different drivers. We are here for a very wet Italy in qualifying, and as you can see, we are actually smashing it on the intermediate conditions once again in this Toro Rosso. This time as Pierre Gasly, not Nico Carey, but we managed to get pole position in this Toro Rosso. Now, it's been 9 years since Sebastian Vettel managed to do that in Italy and actually get pole position, but we managed to do it, and I'm actually impressed we actually got pole position. I didn't think it would work, but astoundingly it did. And we've got a bit of a different helmet this time. As you can see, it's more chrome than last time out. It was matte colour, but we do have a slightly little tweak to the helmet, as you can see, but we do manage to get in first place. Ignore that 26, that is not there, and especially ignore the flag. But nonetheless, we are looking at a very interesting race, to say the least. We are on pole alongside Lewis Hamilton. Again, ignore the whole caveat type thing, it's not important. But we have Valtteri Bottas in 3rd, Vettel in 4th, Raikkonen in 5th, Ricciardo 6th, Max Verstappen 7th, Felipe Massa 8th, Sergio Perez and Romain Grosjean round out the top 10, Esteban Ocon ahead of Hulkenberg, Magnussen and Lance Stroll just ahead of our teammate Carlos Sainz, Jolyon Palmer ahead of both McLarens and both of the Saubers, Marcus Ericsson being the last one of them. Now, it's going to be a very interesting race, just for the pure fact that it's going to be a weird situation. Now, this should be coming out before the championship rounds of Belgium and Italy. So, this is the second time I've done this race. Excuse me. They are coming out a little bit out of order of how I've recorded them, but Italy went really well in the championship, so I'm hoping I can continue that round here and actually continue doing what I do and just actually making it at least onto the podium, at least in this car. It's going to be a little bit difficult, as Toro Rosso isn't exactly the greatest car in the world, but do what we can. Looking at the previous winners, you can see last 3 years have been Mercedes, Red Bull, McLaren, Red Bull, Ferrari, Brawn, Toro Rosso and McLaren. So it's a bit of a mixed bag in terms of 2013 below, but obviously it's usually a Mercedes circuit. It has been and it probably always will be, in terms as long as the engine actually dominates the Grand Prix. But we're going to do what we can, hopefully get off to a good start, just do what we can. But we're ready for the 5 lights and we are underway now, and we get off to a good start. I mean, we didn't lose a place to Hamilton, although he is going to try and go around or outside, so we're going to squeeze him as best we can. We've got Sebastian Vettel, who jumps Valtteri Bottas pretty much immediately, but we're going to hold P1 into turn 1, and Vettel, I think, might even make the move up into P2 at this point. We're on board with Kimi Raikkonen, and Kimi Raikkonen is going to be battling with the Williams of Felipe Massa, so Felipe Massa is challenging the Ferrari on its home turf. As we get some nice sun glare, you can see Vettel does hold that position, and then Bottas is ahead of Ricciardo, and Kimi is still going side by side with Felipe Massa. I'm pretty sure 80% of this lap so far he has been side by side, and I can see him going side by side round for the rest of this lap actually, because Nico Hulkenberg's looking a little bit feisty up the back. But these two used to be teammates back in 2007, 8 and 9. And again, they're still going side by side. The Williams a lot quicker in a straight line, so he's managed to gain a little bit down the back straight. But Kimi will have the inside line for the Ascari chicane, and Kimi will take that position and actually maintain that position that he had. But we're going to look back to the start. We're going to see how Daniel Ricciardo actually made this move on Kimi Raikkonen as well. So we're going to see he gets off to a much better start. We're squeezing Hamilton outrageously. Ricciardo is on the super soft tyre, Bottas on the soft. So the Mercedes are going for a different strategy. If they're both on the soft, the Ferrari is on the super soft. I'm pretty sure we're on the soft. I don't actually remember. Bearing in mind we just looked at the strategy screen, but whatever. So Ricciardo doesn't actually make it past Bottas, but he jumped one of the Ferraris, which is obviously fantastic for him. Lap 2, we got Jolyon Palmer battling with Kevin Magnussen. Again, a difference in tyre strategy, all down to the intermediate conditions, but Palmer does actually make that move. So Palmer's not actually doing too bad, as Magnussen gets a little bit caught up on him, so he's probably going to tell Palmer to suck his balls. But we have a little bit further back, we have got the battle of Fernando Alonso and Marcus Ericsson. Fernando Alonso actually making an attempt down into turn 1 in the straight line speed with that McLaren Honda, which is very weird. Maybe the McLaren Honda's on steroids, I don't know, but because compared to the last race when it was the other way around, when the Saubers were getting past Fernando Alonso, it's going to be interesting to see. But we've got Sergio Perez and Esteban Ocon again fighting for the same piece of tarmac with themselves, so they're going to go side by side all the way into the first chicane of the track, just coming out of sector 1, and it looks as if Sergio Perez is going to lose out to Esteban Ocon here, and he's going to get a little bit of a push and almost comes under the attack of Max Verstappen. So Ocon does have the upper hand at this moment. But lap 3, we've got a very fast Ferrari just flying past us before we come into the Sky chicane. But nonetheless, we do manage to maintain that, and we're actually going to continue on in first place. We're doing a pretty solid job at the moment. It's not too bad, but we're going to move on from a perspective, and doing that to Vettel has actually allowed Hamilton to actually get incredibly close to him and actually try and make an attempt. Bottas is there waiting, just trying to see if he can pick up any positions from the scrap that these two world champions are actually going to have. And you never know, like, Bottas is very opportunistic, and Hamilton does make the move, and here comes Bottas moving to the right hand side. He's going to be in a very weird position, is Vettel. He's going to have a Mercedes in front and to his right, so Bottas is going to try and get this move done. Vettel will have the inside line again on the super soft tyres compared to the Mercedes, but Vettel, he's not laying down and taking it. Hamilton has kind of spun it off into the distance, but the grunt of that Mercedes engine has just pulled him straight ahead of that Ferrari car. So Vettel losing 2 positions to both of the Mercedes, which isn't good. But a little bit further back, we have Kimi Raikkonen and Daniel Ricciardo. Both of them have DRS, both of them on the super soft tyre, but Kimi Raikkonen is just going to cruise up to the side of the Red Bull car, and he's just going to take that position into the Ascari chicane. So Kimi Raikkonen was our championship leader, I believe, coming into this race, and he's not having a great second half of the season. He failed to finish the race in Belgium, and he's a little bit further down as again the Force Indias are battling once again. And I'm pretty sure that this time Sergio Perez actually managed to get ahead of Esteban Ocon, so the Force Indias are still going at it. And there we have a very slow Mercedes, and that Mercedes is, I believe, Valtteri Bottas. Indeed it is. So Bottas is going incredibly slowly. He must have an issue, must have an engine issue, maybe a puncture or something like that. And there it is, he's got a very, very flat rear right puncher. So we're going to have to find out what happened to him. So he clips the curb there and there. There's no contact, so he's going to go through this right-hander, and is it just going to pop? I think it is. It's just going to delaminate and just pop midway through the corner, so he's going to pull to the right-hand side, which is the right thing to do. But that is a free position for Vettel and Kimi. But coming on to lap 7, and we're going to see there's Valtteri Bottas there, and it's going to be incredibly close, and Hamilton is actually going to get held up by his Mercedes teammate. Now this is the perfect opportunity to pit, because we're going to have a little bit of a buffer to Hamilton during the pit stop phase. So if we come in now, we're going to be able to just try and minimise the damage that could be taken by the Mercedes while we pit. But I'm going to come back out into P4, which really isn't too bad at all. I believe we've got a Haas, I want to say. I really can't read this preview screen to save my life. But we've got Valtteri Bottas does eventually make it into the pit lane. He is well over a lap down at this point, just because of how long it actually took him to get here. So he is struggling, bless him. But he does get onto them super soft tyres eventually. It's not going to be, you know, greatly worth it in terms of how necessary it was to actually make that stop. But you can see it was a Haas indeed. We are cruising up to Kevin Magnussen. Just going to fly straight past him. We had DRS open, but it didn't make that much of a difference because we've got such better speed on him than the Haas would have on us. I mean, usually the Haas is really good round here in terms of its pace is just ridiculous. But compared to us, again, with just a basic setup, we have no setups at all. We actually do manage to maintain, hopefully I maintain our position, because we don't know where everyone else is going to be. We've cleared Bottas. Hamilton is going to be the issue. And we're going to find out where he's going to be and it looks as if we have cleared Hamilton fairly well, just down to the fact that Bottas held him up. You know, he may have got held in the pit stop by Vettel. We don't actually know, but Carlos Sainz is going to move over and let us through, as he's a very good teammate. We've got Hulkenberg and Max Verstappen battling it a little bit further back, but Verstappen is going to take that position on Nico Hulkenberg. So Verstappen moves up a place, which he really needs to get his season a bit better underway. He is struggling quite a bit, but here we go again. Sergio Perez and Esteban Ocon, they are fighting again. It looks like Esteban Ocon might have the advantage this time again, down the inside of his teammate. Perez will have the inside line, he's going to get better traction, but Ocon could challenge him coming into the next track, next part of the corner, but we won't get to see that. Speaking of the Haas and how on steroids they can be, we've got Romain Grosjean actually trying to overtake the Red Bull through the Ascari chicane. Now this is very interesting to see that the Haas does have some really good pace when it's hooked up, especially being partnered with Ferrari in a sense. Around here they really want to impress, and Grosjean does get the move done on Daniel Ricciardo, so that's great to see that Romain Grosjean did actually make a solid move. A little while later you could see Ricciardo is coming back again at Romain Grosjean into turn 1, so Ricciardo at a slight disadvantage with the tyre choice, but Romain Grosjean is somewhat vulnerable, and we know how Daniel Ricciardo likes them vulnerable. But we're going to come through and they're going to go side by side through this very high speed section, but Ricciardo does keep that place coming into the chicane, so Ricciardo making some moves. But look at this, we have Kimi Raikkonen and Lewis Hamilton. Raikkonen obviously jumped Hamilton in the pit stop phase, but Hamilton is just on a charge and he's going to absolutely fly past this Ferrari in the straight line, right in front of the Tifosi, right in front of the main grandstand, and that's going to be a blow to all the Ferrari fans who wanted to see the Ferraris do well around here. They're not doing too bad, but obviously Hamilton is absolutely smashing it. But again, we've got Grosjean and Ricciardo again battling it out through the chicanes, and now Grosjean, now he looks like he has the upper hand, so these two are just battling back and forth for what I think is P5. I'm not entirely sure, but then on the final lap you can see Ricciardo is going to try it again and come back at Romain Grosjean. So this is an almighty scrap between these two drivers. Ricciardo has the inside line, Grosjean getting a little bit squirmy under braking, but Ricciardo's going to go to the inside. Again, Grosjean, he likes to take the outside line into turn 1, just so he does have the inside line for turn 2. But Grosjean looks like he's going to have that place sewed up. That could be the end of that fight, but here we are. We have just dominated. We have barely been in view of anyone, bar that one incident with Vettel and the Ascari chicane, but we have just dominated this Grand Prix. We have somewhat recreated what Vettel did, but Pierre Gasly will take his first win and his maiden win in Formula 1, and it was just a perfect race. We just absolutely dominated everything. It was just a great race, all in all. Couldn't have asked for any more than that. But yeah, Hamilton does come across the line ahead of Kimi Raikkonen. Sebastian Vettel does manage to come across the line in 4th place. So not all in all, not too bad for the Ferrari team. Could have done a bit better, but obviously with Bottas being a lap down, they had a pretty good advantage. But there we are. We have won the Italian Grand Prix, and rightly so, in my opinion. We've come so close with Nico Carey in Silverstone and just other cases, but this time we actually managed to make it stick, and showed that we had a pretty good car. There's our teammate, not doing as well as ourselves, but nonetheless we do get the 25 points and we are on the podium. It's not Kvyat, I promise you're seeing things, but we're going to do what we can to try and keep this momentum going through the rest of the championship. We've got the Singapore Grand Prix next, which is going to be an absolute thriller. I love that track, especially in the championship mode. We had good races there, but hopefully we can maintain that and do as best as we can in there. Until next time though, guys, I'll see you then. The guys will wave to you. Bye bye. I'll see you later.